I'm going to see if I can take this short video by myself with everything in the trunk of the Skyliner, all the linkage attached, but kind of walk you through a little bit how I adjusted the pivot bracket right here. There are 4 screws. They're all tight now. But anyway, with the lift arms and the tie bar and the other lift arm installed, I actually installed that out of the car on the bench because my brackets welded to the floor, or this one is turned in this way and this one is turned out that way a little bit, so they're not in line. So short of having to cut those out, re-weld them, reposition them, take a lot of chance on collateral damage, came up with a way that I assembled this outside the car, and I left these turnbuckle large nuts screwed on, but only a few threads, not all the way, so that it does wiggle a little bit on this bolt on each side. And then I brought those 3 components, the 2 lift arms and a tie bar, assembled into the car. And because there was some play in it up here, I was able to get the pins in. If this would be solid and no flex, then I would not be able to get the pins in. Or if I would have put the arms on first, then the problem would be that I wouldn't be able to get the tie bar in with a tie bar screwed on, because the threads would not be aligned and it would strip the threads. So as it was, it worked. But anyway, so once this assembly is in, the 2 lift bars and a tie bar, I have this disconnected, the screw jack, and I have the threads between that are the distance between here and the end of this aluminum tube right here being 13 threads screwed in, which gives me 1 inch from here on both of them. And that might need to be adjusted when you assemble it, a thread or 2 or whatever. In my case, I had to do one of them 1 thread, which was somewhere between a 32nd and a 16th of an inch difference between the 2. I think a 32nd, basically the same. So I basically ended up having the distance between right here and all the way down to this surface right here on this transmission of 43 inches, just about exactly on both left and right, as it turned out. But anyway, with this installed, but this disconnected, and this loose where it moves up and down, forward and backwards, what I did, I have this as forward as it'll go against the cardboard here, pretty much, to get this this power link arm to be parallel or close to the lift arm. As you can see over there, it's pretty close. I actually had it closer at one time, but that's close enough. That's relatively parallel. This one might be slightly more, but can't see from this angle. But anyway, so what you do, you push this down, and then this will all be loose, and you pull it up to where this top line of this member going here is more or less parallel with the plate that's welded to the frame on each side. You can see over here, this one's a little higher, but it is parallel. It's not like up or down one way or the other, which it will go. So it's pretty much parallel. And of course, you've got the screws here backed off, that one backed off, and you've got the one on the control link backed off. So then once you've got that, you hold it up level, then tighten on both of them. And the top 2 here the same thing on the other side. And then you connect put the bolt through here, and you've got this, of course, disconnected at the bottom also. And then you see if it will go in with the bolt freely. If it does not, then you take this back off, and if you need to lengthen it or shorten it, you either turn this in. You can do 1/2 of a turn on this cord. It's got a little notch here, and it's got one at the bottom on the aluminum tube. Or if you do 1 turn all the way around, and then a lock washer has a little prong on it that fits into that indentation, or the little washer, and then the nut goes against that. But anyway, you get that adjusted. It's either going to be right on it, or it's going to be maybe 1 turn, for example, one way or the other, so that then you can put your bolt in. And you do the same same on the other side. And then of course you tighten it. And at that point you can tighten, like I say, tighten these top 2. This is not too hard to get. The 3rd one right here, you might just leave that one for right now until you test it. The one down underneath that one, there are 4 of them, loose. And then you run this down until it's tight, and just maybe another 1/4 turn or whatever. And this one here, you run it in till it meets here, and you turn it in like an extra 1 turn or something like that, 1/2 a turn, 1 turn, and do that on both sides. And then after you do that, then you turn this down till it meets on the control arm, to this stop meets this control link arm, and then you turn it in 2 additional turns. So it's kind of messed up, but I had a little magic marker, and I turned it 2 additional turns to tighten it. Same on the other side. And at that point, you've got the locks done. You've got the top bolts on each side, and then you can try the top. And everything should line up. Of course, you've got the top already on the car, and the lock nuts are all been adjusted. They can be tight. The book says everything loose, but if you got everything adjusted, then shouldn't be a problem. And of course, the Ford roof, it's really necessary, if it's out of alignment, to align it first rather than after this. Otherwise you'll have to redo this procedure. But that's more or less how you do it. And in my case, like I said, my arms are basically 43 inches each. They came out the same. I did have to turn one of them in 1 turn, one up here, to get the bottom bolt to go in on one of them. I don't remember which one. And so that should, when you retract the top and put it back up, your screws on the front that meet the windshield, they should line up. And these 2 pins, one on each side, they should go into the track. And you can have the tracks loosened so that you can kind of adjust those once the top goes down and the pins fall in or close or halfway in to these tracks. You don't want the pin necessarily to go all the way here in case the top moves a little bit. I'll leave maybe 1/8 of an inch or something to adjust these, so the pin is over halfway in, but it's not all the way over where it touches at on each side. So that's kind of a rough and dirty, if that makes any sense, how to do that. But when I had put this the 2 lift arms, these right here, which these are shorter ones, which helped out. They're 5/16 of an inch shorter between the hole here and the hole here that Mr. Wayne Rollins came up with and has made. And anyway, so I had this two lift arms in this, and I put it in the car without this being connected and without this being connected. So I had this, actually I had the 2 lift arms, the tie bar, and these 2 power link arms connected together, but it was disconnected here, and this was disconnected. So I could take this and I could raise it, you know, have this arm go back and forth. And as I did, in my case, since these are not straight, it was relatively loose, and then it got tight, and then it got loose again as it went by that high point. Because you should have the same distance from here to there and here to there. So the distance at the bottom and the top should be the same. Well, in my case, because this is bent, they were not. It was a 1/4 inch shorter at the top, and still is. But I was able then, it got tight, but it didn't bend the bar, because I had a little bit of a looseness, a slop or slack in this bar, so that these could move a little bit, you know, and it wouldn't bend this. Had this been tied in very tight, it would have had no choice but to bend this bar. And so anyway, that's so it's working. It's lining up in the roof. It's lining up with the pins in the back, and the bar is not bending, and I don't see any issue with it. The bar has been up and down a few times, and it's at one point I had it perfectly straight, but when I did a procedure before this, it maybe bent very slightly, and I never did re-straighten it. But it's basically pretty straight, and it's all the way up against the cardboard backing plate. So anyway, that's what we got, if that helps. Okay.